We could try, yeah, let's try that. Okay, awesome. All right, great. All right, so close your eyes. You picture that orange thing in your mind. You got it? Okay, now don't open your eyes. Somebody raise your hand and tell me something that you saw that's purple. Okay, I'm going to touch your hand and then you can tell me something that you saw that was purple. Okay.
A sprinkle.
A sprinkle? Oh, on your donut? Oh, how fun. Okay, one more. All right, here I come. All right. Something that you saw that was purple.
Annabelle's.
Her headband. All right, open your eyes. Awesome. Okay, that's awareness. That's awareness. We look around all the time, or we don't. Okay, because I'm just as bad. I can be, but I know how to lock the door in my car when I check my email. But awareness is 90% of self-defense. And awareness is something that, it's just like anything, you just practice. So that little exercise was something in, we tend to look around, but are we really looking around? Are we looking behind? Are we checking our 12 o'clock? Are we watching doors? How many of you, when you're in a restaurant, face the door? Or your husband faces the door? I actively do that. I go to the Rock Church. By the way, your church is awesome, but I love my church too. I love the Rock, yeah. I'm down in San Diego. And Pastor Miles, we have 2,500 people in the auditorium, right? And most of the people love to sit like right there in the mosh pit with him. Not me. If you come to the Rock, guess where you're going to see me sitting? By the exit. Because I've gone through active shooter training, okay? It's just things that I think about, right? Now, I'm not here to make you paranoid today, but what I am here to do is to make you more aware and prepared. And those skills you can then teach your children. Awareness is 90% of self-defense. That's the A and the ABCs. The B is boundaries. And the C, believe it or not, is the confidence to execute that boundary. Kathy, go ahead and tell. Kathy and her daughter took our women's self-defense class, and her daughter had to use this on, was it Bennett's speech? Go ahead and stand up and tell the ladies about it. Becky, I knew that. Becky, I'm so first it was Mandy, then I just text my friend Kathy, and now you're Kathy. Yeah. Becky.
Her friends are like, oh, what's up with you? He just turned around and walked away.
Yeah.
That's not her nature. She's on the shy side. She's like, Mom, I used myself to.
Yeah. And what she did was, first she was aware of the way that her body made her feel. And this is what we want to teach our children, and I'll get into that in a minute, is that her creeper alarm was going off. When things are uncomfortable, because the person might look creepy, and that's a given. You're going to stay away from him. But that really nice guy, you're at the gas station and he's walking up to you, hey, excuse me, you just dropped this 20, but he's getting closer to you to give you that 20, and your mind is going 100 miles an hour. Did I really drop that 20? I want that 20. I don't know. It's probably my 20. It's my 20, right? But he's getting closer and closer and closer, and guess what? It's most likely a scam. Okay, so being aware, she was aware that her creep alarm was going off. B, he kept invading their boundary. He was following them. Okay, and then finally, C, she had to get to the part where she had to use her Chihuahua confidence. And that's how we teach children to just go, ah! Exactly. This is Cece. Everybody say, hola, Cece. Hola. Oh, Cece's going to eat your cookie. Here she goes. She's going to get it. And CC stands for, everybody say, confident Chihuahua. Confident Chihuahua. Courageous Chihuahua. Courageous Chihuahua. But if you get in her bubble, what do Chihuahuas do? Yeah, they go nuts. They're like, exactly. Yeah, so this is how we teach children, not women, but this is how we teach children to go Chihuahua crazy. Woo! See. So what I'm going to try to do this morning is I'm going to try to bounce back a little bit between women and children's self-defense, but really about 80% I want to just concentrate on women's because there's a lot of information. You have handouts on the table, and I'm going to send you a follow-up email with some links to some videos. But what I would suggest is if you could have your children watch Beverly Hills Chihuahua. It's free on Netflix or the Disney Channel. And in the movie, there was this Chihuahua. Her name was Chloe. And Chloe got lost in Mexico. She had a diamond necklace on. And this great big mean dog named Diablo is trying to get her, right? And so Chloe's running all around Mexico trying to get away from this big dog that's trying to get her until she meets her Chihuahua teacher. And this is what he teaches her. He says to her, "Find your voice, mija." So at the end of the movie, when the great big dog's getting ready to attack her, Chloe finally finds her Chihuahua courage, and she says to the big dog, "No, Mas!" And the big dog freaks out, and he runs away, but that's how her family found her, because they what? They heard her, right? So that's how we teach children. In fact, I'm going to have you repeat after me. Everyone repeat after me. My voice is my biggest weapon. But my secret weapon is Chihuahua courage. All right. So, ladies, but those principles still apply to us. We need to fake it to make it. If we don't feel confident, we need to act like we're confident, that we're not afraid. My ministry verse is Psalms 144, 1 and 2. Praise be to the Lord my God, my rock, who trains my hands for war, my fingers for battle. We need to learn to fight, not just on the spiritual realm, the physical realm, but on the spiritual realm. The chances of you being attacked by a stranger or your children, slim to none. They say 90% of the time we will know our attacker. 1 in 3 girls, 1 in 6 boys will be sexually assaulted, and that could mean inappropriate touch before the ages of 18. It happened to me 3 times. But the stranger thing, like what happened to Chelsea King, or did you hear on the news 2 days ago, the little girl and brother here in Southeast San Diego that were abducted? Yeah, I'll tell it, yeah. That kind of stuff is really, really rare, but does it happen? It happens, right. So when I worked with Dr. Phil and Dr. Sears, Dr. Phil, he's really an advocate of stop being a helicopter mom. Don't bubble wrap your kids. I'm telling you, the kids that are our inner city kids, when I go down to the inner city or down to South Bay and I teach, those kids are so savvy. Their parents have already taught them street smarts. Then I get up into like Carlsbad, and I call those kids the Wonder Bread kids. The little white Wonder Bread kids. No, I'm not a racist, but yeah. They're like oblivious because mom and dad are all bubble wrapping them and hovering around them. So the little girl in Southeast, her dad, single dad, pulled up to a hair product store and to run in to get products for her. Isn't that cool? Single dad, and I love that. Left her in the car with her 3-year-old brother. She had her own phone, but it wasn't activated. It was not activated, so it didn't have service. And then he left the car running because it was so hot yesterday or the day before. Went into the store, and as soon as he did it, a lady jumped in the car she had been washing and drove off. Now, this little girl, she was street smart, and she said to the lady, "You better let me go, or I'm going to call 911 on you." Because her dad had taught her that cell phone, you can still use it as an emergency device. You can, as long as it's charged, you can still call 911, and he showed her how to do it. And the lady said, "You better put that phone away, or I'm going to crash this car." And the little girl is on 911. We got to hear the recording the other day. And they said, "What do you see?" And she goes, "I see a sign that says Mexico. And they were waiting for her at the border. That they said on the news that 10 minutes later, that lady would have crossed the border. 10 minutes later. That little girl, she had to be proactive about her own safety, her own self-defense, and that's the way that we treat kids. Now, granted, if you put a child in one of our self-defense classes, we're going to teach them using the Chihuahua because we don't want to scare them. But for you women, let's get to the nitty-gritty. Let's talk about women's self-defense, okay? First of all, I want to share a story with you. I was watching a Christian show on television, and this woman was in bed, and she woke up in the middle of the night, and there was a guy standing over her bed. Single woman. Worst nightmare, right? Yeah. So all of a sudden, she looks at him, and she starts praying. She starts praying out loud. And I bet you $10, because if it had been me, I'd have been rebuking him in the name of Jesus, right? So she's rebuking him. She's praying out loud. She's calling down angels. And all of a sudden, the man's looking at her, and he's like, and then he looks up, and he freaks out, and he runs away, and she calls 911, and they side of her headboard, two guys that were like 7 or 8 feet tall, he said. Isn't that awesome? Now, she didn't make this stuff up, obviously, because he told the police that in the police report. So not only did she use her voice, but she also used her voice on the spiritual realm to call down, the spiritual help. And obviously those two, whatever he saw, we know they had to have been angels. 7 or 8 feet tall, are you kidding me? Yeah. So that's the kind of power that we have. But here's the thing, as women, I don't think we fully understand it. I know that if I grabbed your kid right now, you would go off on, you'd kill me, right? You all have that mama bear in you. Somebody touches your kid, you're going to rip their head off, okay? But here's the thing, do you know how to protect your children spiritually? And you think it's a little bit more difficult, but it really, really isn't. So what I'm going to do this morning is I'm going to go over the 4 A's of self-defense, and I'm going to show you, I'm going to parallel them physically and spiritually. Okay, so the first one we already talked about, awareness. Awareness is 90% of your safety. Being aware of who's around you, but more importantly, being aware of how people make you feel. Because remember, it's probably someone you know. Do you know how many women have told me that their husbands got deployed and the guy his friend that he left in charge to watch over the family was the one that came over and acquaintance raped her? Because he's fixing something for her and she makes him a cup of coffee, and when she's not looking, he drops a roofie or some GHB in her coffee. She passes out and she wakes up the next few hours later and realizes, she's had sex. Right? That's the kind of stuff that I hear all the time, those types of stories, right? So let's look at awareness. I'm going to ask, let's have you two moms come on over here, and you're going to walk by me, and let's pretend you're walking the neighborhood. Okay, now, here's something that you want to teach your children. Oh, perfect, okay. There we go, okay. So, you're walking the neighborhood together. Now, everybody, this is something you want to teach your children. Everybody's a stranger that they don't know. Oh, shoot, because I'm going to do a role play. Yeah, it's going to be kind of hard. Okay. Yeah, okay, yeah. So everybody's a stranger, everybody. That's why we need to stop using the word stranger danger. Why are we teaching our kids that strangers are dangerous, right? We use the word stranger awareness when we're teaching children. So everybody here is a stranger. Your child doesn't know if that person's good or bad. So we call strangers don't knows. Don't knows. And in your follow-up email, what I'm going to do is, since this is such a large group, I'm just going to email Andrea and then have her forward it on to all of you. But I'm going to send you a link to John Walsh's video that I absolutely love. It's a DVD you can get. I just saw it on Amazon used for $1.86. It's called The Safe Side. And it teaches pre-K and kinders, that age group, like 3, 4, 5-year-olds, probably 2-year-olds, about strangers. And that's the words that they use, don't knows. You don't know if they're good. You don't know if they're bad. It's not your child's job to figure it out. It's your job, right? In fact, everyone repeat after me. A good stranger, this is for children, won't talk to me without an adult. Without my adult. So in other words, permission protects. If I'm a good stranger, I'm not going to talk to your child without talking to you first. That's all you have to do is teach your children. And stop saying don't talk to strangers. Instead, I want you to teach them don't stop and listen. So replace that. Don't listen to strangers. Okay, so you ladies are walking the neighborhood. You don't know if I'm good. You don't know if I'm bad. You're not going to assume that I'm bad, right? And I walk by you. When people are behind us, but here's the thing. What you need to do, it's really simple, is when you walk by people, they need to know that you're aware. Because if you look over your shoulder, and you don't have to look at them, like I usually look down to see like I dropped something. I did that the other day, in fact. I looked like I dropped something. They can see that at least I'm facing that direction. They're in my peripheral vision, okay? So this time when you walk by me, so go ahead and walk by me, I want you to go ahead and check your 12 o'clock, okay? So you're going to walk by me. Right now you're looking at your 6. And then just kind of look back. Good. And you don't have to look at me if that makes you feel uncomfortable, but at least I know you're aware, okay? All right, thanks so much. Moms, I can't tell you how many women have told us that they've been jogging and that very situations happen, and all of a sudden they run by the guy and they don't want to look at him, and the next thing they know, he's turned around and he's right there. We need to get rid of that whole mentality, oh, if I don't look at him, he won't look at me. If I don't look at him, he won't ask me for money. Right? Because that's what they're counting on. They're counting on you not looking back, not being aware. One of my favorite books, and I'm going to send you the link in the email. It's brand new. It just came out. It's called A Women's Superpower. And it's a women's self-defense book. But Steve says in the book, when you come out of a grocery store, you got to remember a predator is watching you. They're not going to grab the first person. So come out and you should scan the parking lot like this. Just kind of look around, and then go to your car, all right? Put your shopping cart behind you when you're putting your groceries in the tailgate. But if you have children, this is what you should do. Tell your children you're going to play a game while mommy's putting you in your car seat. If anybody is behind mommy, let me know, okay? You might not want to turn it into a too playful of a game, because one of my moms said her daughter was like, Mom, Elmo's behind you. JK, Mom, there's someone behind you. JK. So you kind of have to be careful. You have to let her know or him know that it's his job. He's the lookout. So you're putting your child, first of all, throw your purse in the car. So get rid of that, which could be an item that bad person would want, okay? So the temptation. So get rid of your purse. As you strap your child in, take a couple moments to look around. Have your child look for you, okay? Then close the door and then put your groceries in the car, okay? And try to have the cart behind you. So now if a predator is watching you, you've taken away about 3 things that he needs, because predators are looking for this. Someone who's alone, someone who's distracted, and someone who looks weak or not prepared. So you've taken that away. They're going to move on to an easier target. Unfortunately now, if you know this person, and we'll talk about that later, it's not quite that easy. But with strangers, pretty much you have to remember they're like lions. They're looking for the one that's strayed from the pack, the young, the older ones, and of course, anybody that might be disabled or hurt because they can't run, all right? Easy targets. 2 things that predators are afraid of:
getting caught and getting hurt. So that's why it's really important to teach your children, and you should know yourself that your biggest weapon is your voice. The police told me to tell you, check this out, the most critical time in an attack is the first 20 minutes, the first 3 seconds. The first 3 seconds, the police told me to tell you, you need to be raging on that guy. We just call it going chihuahua, okay? So it's not like, is this a YouTube prank? Because by that time, he's pulled you and got you in a chokehold from behind, right? So you need to go off. And the police told me to tell you that a safe distance is about 20 feet. So what we do is we teach women, go ahead, Emiko, did I pronounce it right? Emiko, go ahead and stand up. So we teach children more than 5 big people's arms. So go ahead and put your arm out. That's 2 people's big arms. So this is about 5 arm lengths, about right here, but we say more than that, more than that. So if somebody's approaching you, you should be doing what? Backing up. Okay, so go ahead and, Emiko. You don't have, go ahead and face me. You don't have the kids with you, okay? And or maybe you've put the kids in the car, and you have a watch on, and I pretend I don't, and I'm a stranger. But here's the scenario: there are a lot of people in the parking lot. It's not like dark and everyone's gone home and the store's locked up and it's just you. Okay? There's people milling about. So watch what I'm going to do. I'm going to walk up and I'm going to say, "Oh, hey, excuse me. Do you have the time? My Fitbit just died." 10:30? Okay. So, wow. So see what I'm doing? Yeah. So what could Emiko have done when I asked her that? No, well, because you don't really want to go 0 to 10 right away. No, I meant when she was giving me the time. Because I would do that after. What she wants to do is when she gives me the time, she should be what? Backing up. So watch. Excuse me, do you have the time? Start backing up. Oh, okay, now if I'm a good person, what am I going to do? I'm going to stay here, or I'm going to back away to make you feel comfortable. And then I'll say, okay, thank you, as I'm backing away. But if I'm like, I'm sorry, you don't speak very loud. I can't hear you. Yeah, okay, that's when she says, hey, stop. I can hear you. Stand right there, okay? If I'm really creeping you out, you need to really start, because you're not going to want to leave your kids in the car. You need to somehow get in the car or go completely chihuahua so that you can get people to come over and help you. Thanks a lot. Thanks. Okay, now, a lot of people ask me this. What do I yell? You yell 911, help 911, rape 911, stranger. We teach kids, stranger, stranger, 911. If they're really little, because we have a mommy and me class for 4 and 5-year-olds, it's hard for them to say 911. They say 119. It's really cute. Or 191. It's really cute, yeah. So we teach them, Mom, stranger, Daddy, stranger. Yeah, but for us, we have to say 911. I know your grandma's taught you to say fire, but that is done. That's gone now. I'll tell you why. If the fire department shows up and there's no fire and there's no medical emergency, they're going to stay on the truck until the police get there to secure the scene. So you've just wasted precious moments. Plus, if I started screaming fire right now, everybody would run. Right? Yeah. So stranger, stranger, I would say rape 911, help 911, but people need to be directed. It's just like CPR. So your voice is your biggest weapon. So maybe what you do with your kids at home is you have the stranger talk with them and have them practice running from you. Like we play games like as soon as I get, in my kids class, our male instructor dresses up like this silly stranger. And he'll come out and he'll say, hey, do you want some candy? And then the kids run from him, as soon as he's closer than 5 arm lengths. We also let them hit him with pool noodles because we found that when we let kids hit him, it makes them louder. Isn't that funny? So we actually get kids loud by letting them hit him. I know, it's weird, but it's cute. But for you guys, just remember this. The louder you yell, the harder you hit, the more attention you attract. It's part of that ATP cycle you learned in high school. Remember that? You take in oxygen, it produces energy. Yeah. Okay. Now, Secret weapon we've gone over is confidence. Now, with children, what I did with Emiko was I crossed your boundary, right? So this is what we teach little kids. Everybody make a bubble. Okay, everybody say, this is my bubble. If you come in my bubble without permission, I will go chihuahua on you. Yeah, so actually what we do in our class is we give the kids a confidence test. And this is what I would do. Let's go ahead and stand up. This is what we do in our women's class too. By the way, just to clarify, in our kids class and our parent and me class, it's really gooful, playful. That's how we teach children. We call it edutainment. You have to entertain them to educate them. If you make self-defense scary, they're going to have bad dreams. Women's class, oh no. Girlfriend, we have you fight the padded suit guy, right? Right, Becky? Yeah. And they're cute, but they come out and they're fully padded, and after you've practiced for a couple hours, they grab you, and then you're like, bam! And then you're like, can I kick him in the now? Right? Yeah. Okay, but in both classes, we always give kids and women the confidence test. Watch this. So let's say I'm meeting you for the first time. Okay, so hi, what's your name?
Luz.
Luz, nice to meet you. Good. Then Luz takes a little step backwards. Teach your children this because she's testing me. And then, of course, if I go, dang, girl, you look good. Right? How many of you know, dang, girl, you look good guy? Yeah. Remember that guy in college, high school and college? Right. So what I just did was not only did I cross your boundary, I completely violated it, right? And I touched you to see what you would do.
Sorry.
Oh, okay, yeah. So I'm going to touch you. I want you to just gently move my arm away. Like, go ahead, yeah. So go ahead and just push my arm off. It's okay to do that, ladies. You need to let people know, this is my bubble. If you come in it, I'm going to go chihuahua on you. Thanks so much. So when you teach your children, and I wouldn't use the words meeting people, because if they're meeting people, they should have an adult with them. Tell them this. If you go over to your friend's house for a play date, or you go to Sunday school or wherever you're at, and somebody gets in your bubble and they make you feel funny in your tummy, you need to come tell mommy. But teach them that when people talk to them, teach them that maybe they'll say, yeah, my name is. Teach them to take that little step back and to be able to gauge whether that person's a creeper or not. Creepers will always show their colors. So if you're wrong, if like what you said, hey, stop, back off. And what happened to Becky's daughter, if the guy's a good guy, he's going to be like, oh, gosh, I am so sorry, you're right. I am boundary challenged. I apologize. If he goes, what's your problem, lady? I'm not a creeper, Oh, he showed his colors. Guess what? He is a creeper. Get out of there. So that's why I love that test, okay? Oh, awesome.
It works now.
Okay, yeah. All right, I'll trade you them. Okay, so now, can confidence and awareness be taught? Absolutely. So, take your children to McDonald's or Starbucks or, you know who's going to make a lot of money? Someone that makes a business that's just like McDonald's, but it's all healthy food. So they have the little playground. Yeah. But take your child somewhere and ask and say to them, hey, show mommy someone who looks aware. And they will. People will walk in the door and they'll go, that man, his hands are, he's looking around, mommy, okay? Show mommy someone who doesn't look aware. And then if you're at Starbucks, that's pretty much everybody. Yeah. That's everybody, right? That's another reason you want to sit facing the door, ladies, or at least be by an exit. But when it comes to confidence has to be taught. It has to be exemplified. In other words, you have to teach by example. So you need to have your hands at your side when you're talking to people or you're meeting people. If we're with your friends and you're like this, or you're like this, it's okay. But when the other day when I got out of the car, and I got out of the car, I shut the door, and these guys were catcalling and saying weird stuff to me. Actually, I was kind of flattered at my age. I was like, no, I didn't. But don't you know I went home and told my husband? Yeah.
Yeah. So you know what I did was I just threw my shoulders back and I looked back and I let them know I see you, but I didn't smile or anything, but I didn't flip them off. You know, I just showed like, hey, I see you, and off I went, right? So letting children see when you look confidence. So this is what we do in our kids class. We go, we are shy, nervous, mad, sassy, double sassy. That's my other presentation. Yeah. And then strong and courageous. Be strong and courageous. And keep telling your children, there's not a lot of bad strangers out there. There's not. There really isn't. Be strong and courageous. The Lord your God goes before you in battle. He's behind you in battle. Your children should know that Jesus is their bodyguard. Jesus is their bodyguard. If you don't believe me, I think I told you that. Did I tell you the story last year about little Willie Merrick, the one that was abducted in Atlanta and started singing? Yeah, who hasn't heard that story? Okay, so he's 10 years old, and I'm telling you he's African American because I'm trying to set up the scene here. He's in Atlanta, and he's in his church choir. And I don't know about my church, we don't even have a choir. We have a great worship band, though, yeah. So little Willie was really into his church choir. He is playing in the front yard, funny enough, with his chihuahua, and the chihuahua didn't do anything. This man drove up, and he had put money in the yard, and as Willie was bending over to get the money, the man came up behind him and basically grabbed him by the scruff of his neck and pushed him towards the car and said, boy, you scream, I'm gonna hurt you. We actually teach kids and women how to get out of that. It's super easy to get out. And so he pushes Willie in the car, and the doors are child-proofed, and he's driving away, and he said to the boy, be a good boy, and I'll take you home. And Willie didn't believe that at 10. He's like the little girl the other day. She didn't believe it. He starts praising the Lord. He starts singing because he's in the church choir. Hezekiah Walker, who's one of my favorite gospel artists, he's singing, every praise is to our God. Glory, hallelujah. And he's singing. And the Bible tells us in Psalms that the Lord inhabits the praises of his people. So I firmly believe that when he's praising God, there was probably more angels that could fit in that car. We're in that car, right? The guy turns around and tells Willie to shut up. He says, boy, you're being annoying. Shut up. So Willie, in the interview, they asked him, well, what did you do? And he goes, every praise is to, and it said he sang for 3 hours before the guy finally was so confused, he didn't know what to do with him, and he let him go. Now, how ironic is it that the Bible tells us that we can pray the power, we can ask God to confuse the plans of the enemy. How cool is that? And that's totally what I believe happened. When things are happening in my family, and I have not teenagers, but they're in their 20s now, but my younger son grew up being Mr. Squeaky Clean until he hit his senior year of high school, and he turned into Satan. I don't know what happened, yeah, right? Yeah, but you know what? I kept praying, Lord, I kept praying that scripture over him. Confuse the plans of the enemy. Let no weapon forged against Christian prosper. That's my son's name. And as for every day I get up, I thank God every day. As for me and I thank you, Lord, that as for me and my household, we will serve the Lord. So I'm fighting for my kids and my family even before something happens, right? So anyhow, the guy lets Willie go, and it's so cool because you see they did the news story at this huge Atlanta church, and they were doing a big celebration. They had the gospel choir up there, and Willie's singing, and all of a sudden you see, it's on YouTube, Hezekiah Walker, they flew him in from New York. He's walking down the aisle, and he's singing every praise with Willie, and Willie just starts bawling. I'm crying. I can't even watch it because I always cry when I watch it, yeah. So incredible. What a lesson for that child in spiritual warfare. Right? So, and those are some of the lessons that we want to teach our children because it's going to make them more what? It's going to make them more confident, knowing that they have somebody looking out for them, okay? All right, now, before we get to the strongest weapons, we're going to talk about the self-defense temper tantrum. I just want to go over, because we're going to show you some techniques too. Real quickly, remember when I said earlier that 90% of the time you will know the person? That's what we hear the most. The stranger stuff, You know, we hear it, but it's so incredibly rare. That's why it's on the news, and then everybody thinks it happens all the time. But I've had more Girl Scouts tell me that their stepdads have touched them inappropriately, stepbrothers. This is one I hear the most probably. My older brother's friends, even their own friends. Those are the kinds of things that I hear the most. So it's really important, women, that we know how predators prey on us as women and as children. And let me tell you, I'm going to try to make this as quick as possible. If I'm a predator and you're a woman, chances are I'm going to use the number one weapon that predators use on people. Who wants to guess what that is? Number one weapon. Nope. Nope. Becky. No. The number one weapon that predators use on their victims. Alcohol and drugs. Alcohol and drugs, yeah. So, dropping something in your drink while your husband's at work, and I'm the family friend, because chances are, if I do something to you, it's your word against mine. I'm a guy right now. A lot of my students have told me I didn't report it because I didn't know if my husband would believe it or not, and would think I was having an affair. And the guy gets away with it. Coworkers, I hear that one a lot too. So it happened to one of my friends, a coworker drugged her and then said, oh, hey, she looks like she's sick. I better take her home. Yeah, he took her home all right, right? Okay. So as women, we need to be really aware of that. Real quickly, it used to be Rohypnol was the drug of choice. They drop it. It's odorless, powderless, tasteless. I mean, it's odorless and tasteless. It's a powder or liquid form or a pill. They put it in your drink. You don't even know. How many of you go on my Facebook today? Not me personally. You're just going to see my dog, but it's true. But on my Play It Safe Defense, I just posted the girl's doing a selfie. She's at a concert, and she's got her drink here, and she's like, and the guy comes right behind her and drops something in her drink. It's on my Facebook page. And somebody actually commented, oh, that's fake. No, it was not fake. We hear about stuff like that all the time because even if he doesn't watch her and see her drop, he just did it for kicks, kicks and, what do they call it, kicks and giggles or giggles and something, yeah. He just did it to be, a predator. So anyhow, in Pacific Beach this past summer, we had 3 incidences where women or young women were at a bar. I was on the news with Channel 10 with one of the women. She was like early 20s. She had gone, her boyfriend had got her a beer. They had popped the cap. She was drinking out of the beer bottle. She had a couple of swigs. She said she started to feel really bad. She left her cell phone with her boyfriend, went to the bathroom with her purse, passed out in the bathroom. 10 minutes later, he came looking for her because he's like, whoa, what the heck? Did she really have to go that bad? And because I think men give us more time because they need it, My husband's in there for an hour, yeah. He goes in there and she's gone. They found her 4 hours later, 4.5 blocks away, completely passed out. They took her to the hospital. She had been drugged with GHB, the new predator's choice, because it's fast acting. 5 minutes instead of 20 minutes. 5 minutes, you're down. And then here's the bad thing about GHB. When you get to the hospital, if you don't get there fast enough, it's not even in your system anymore. So a lot of us wouldn't even have the proof that we needed to go back to that date and say, dude, you drugged me, pop, that was rape, you're busted. With Rohypnol, it usually can stay in your system for about 24 hours. So here's what I want you to know. If at any point, even if you've been drinking, you feel really dizzy or sick, make sure you grab another woman, because the person that drugged you could be the person that you think you trust, the coworker, your husband's friend, or what have you. Those are the stories. That is the number one weapon used in college. And moms, I'm not here to scare you, but when you get college-bound or young women and men, 1 in 16 guys report sexual assault in college. It's Cal State San Marcos, 1 in 16 because of same-sex relationships. Rape, right? He might say no to the guy he's dating, and that guy doesn't take no for an answer. So it's on men as well. But we have to prepare our children, especially come middle school. You need to be talking to them about alcohol, and drugs, because that's, especially with alcohol. They're going to sneak it and think that they're really cool until something bad happens. Now, that's the weapon that we have to worry about. With children, though, it's grooming. So it's this person that they're around that they know. The person that sexually assaulted us was a family friend, and we had known him for so long that he became Uncle So-and-so. And then we trusted him, and he was a physical therapist, just like Dr. Nassar and the gymnastic. By the way, I had a chiropractor want to do that to me, and all I had was a bum neck. And he wanted to vaginally adjust me with no nurse in the room, and I'm like, stop, don't touch me there. This is my no-no square, right? Yeah. And I ended up reporting him to the insurance company, and I found out years later that he was shut down, so obviously he had been doing some pretty scary things. I'll tell you his name in case he pops up again, Dr. Crisp. I'll never forget, here in San Diego, yeah. That's not a common procedure. But anyhow, getting back to my family friend, he was a physical therapist, so our parents trusted him with our sports injuries. So guess where his hands would go when we had sports injuries that weren't even related to this area, right? Yeah. We never reported it because we were just all really embarrassed and ashamed. But I am here to tell you, I'm in my 50s. My brother, I believe, is 49. Just came out 2 years ago, and he's a chaplain, so he really knows the Lord. He was raped by a family friend, completely different family friend, and he never reported it, and now he's in therapy. And they say that with men, a lot of when they're abused as children, a lot of it manifests itself in their 40s for some reason. And he did have a drug and alcohol problem before he found Jesus, yeah. So this conversation we should be having with our boys, too. I'm going to send you the link to the No-No Score song. Who doesn't know it? All right, let's sing it together. Stop, don't touch me there. Stop, don't touch me, dude. Stop, don't touch me, dude. Everybody say, this is my no-no cube. Okay, and then S-T-O-P. Keep your hands away from me. Keep your hands away from me. A bad secret I won't keep. Bad secret I won't keep. I'm going to tell when I feel creeped. Dr. Sears told me to tell you that children, they'll feel that feeling naturally. I can walk up to any child and go, hi. And they go like this. We call it turtle mode. They go into turtle mode, right? But they don't know how to set a boundary. They don't know how to say, stop, I don't like this, and then go tell mom, right? Or they might tell mom. So Dr. Sears told me to tell you, we need to write the scripts for our children. Teaching them songs like that, reading them books on the body. There's some books I put in there for you that are real fun, is the best thing you can do for your children. I would read them a book on body appropriateness or body touch before I would read the Stranger Danger or the Stranger Awareness book, although I would read them both, yeah. Okay, now, let's do some self-defense real quick, because I only have about 10 minutes. Oh, no, you didn't. Okay, you can tell I have problems with microphones. Okay, all right, so this is Bob. Bob's our body opponent bag. All right, now this is for you and your children. Who would like to come up and hit Bob because you're kind of pissed off at your husband this morning? I do it all the time. Come on up. You know another thing I did? One time I was so mad at my husband that I put Bob next to me in bed. I took him off the base, and I had the covers up, and he came home from a trip. He was an airline pilot. And I heard him come up the stairs, and he walks into the room, and there's me, and then this. He's like, oh, what the? And I started laughing. And no, I don't use them for the carpool lane. Okay, all right, so everyone repeat after me. Plan A, Plan B, Plan C. Plan A, stranger talks to me. I don't feel comfortable, or there's nobody around. So I'm going to get to people. Okay, with children, these are their safe adults. Moms with kids, families with kids, Groups of people. Because see, if they see a group of people, they're going to think you're all strangers. But we need to start telling them, no, groups are good. Groups are good. Remember the Costco story I told you last year where the little boy, Costco San Marcos, got lost? And he went with the guy because the guy told him he worked there and he faked a name badge. So the other safe group is people they see working. All right? So everyone say, stay with people, or get to people. That's plan A. Plan B is this simply. So come on over, and what's your name? Bryn. So Bryn, somebody grabs you. Now I think this is really unlikely, but it's like this. You scream, and I'm going to hurt you, right? So it's what we call, they've grabbed you, but there's no motion. I'm not pulling you. I'm not pushing you. This is all pretty unrealistic. Actually, though, this is probably domestic violence. It's this. Domestic violence is usually this, or this. I'm not going to get into domestic violence, but I would be willing to guess that if anybody here this morning has a problem, it's probably someone that's very, very close to you. Dr. Phil's wife, Robin McGraw, she has a foundation called When Georgia Smiles, and she has the best safety app for a phone. It camouflages as a different app. I don't know if it's a calculator, but it doesn't look like a domestic violence app. And it has all these safety precautions, things that you can get your neighbors on board if you have a problem. You can click on it. It'll show you the closest women's shelter to go to. It'll tell you all these things that you need to do. So if you have a friend that's going through that, have her download. It's called When Georgia Smiles, okay? All right, so anyhow, if I'm an abusive partner and you start yelling at me, I'm going to hit you, right? So the best thing really for you to do is try to talk me down and get out of there. Get out of there. You don't want to hit me, because if you hit me, I'm going to hit back. But let's say you need to hit me, or I'm a stranger, because you have to I'm not going to let go of you until you hurt me. You're not going to just do this really cool martial art. What's ah? I mean, because when the guy's hanging on to you, remember when Matt's hanging on to us? I can't even break out of that. So everyone repeat after me. Plan B. Strike. Wonder Woman break. Go to people. Okay, so really quickly, these are the disabling areas. These are the areas that guarantee you will not be chased. Everybody say eyes, glasses, throat. And when I say throat, I'm talking about using something, your phone, back off! He's not breathing. Pens are great weapons. Pens are great weapons, okay. All right, next I'm going to skip this whole area. If you saw Miss Congeniality, that's one of my favorite movies, but it's wrong. You never hit a dude in the solar plexus. It's not going to hurt. Why would you do this when you can do this or that? Because these guys just know how to toughen up right here, okay? The same thing with an elbow strike. You're not going to do this when you can do that, okay? All right, but going down, knees, everybody say knees, and shins. Shins. So, Bryn, if I had you and I'm yelling at you like this, really the best thing you can do right now is to kick me in the shin, because I can't block a shin kick. I was in a situation with someone I knew that was yelling at me doing this, and I came up to knee strike him because I thought, you little turd, I'm going to show you, right? He was on drugs, a family member, and he blocked it. He blocked it, right? So shins are really good. But watch this. Everybody, I want you to say 5 fingers. Oprah calls this the grapefruit punch. You know what I'll do is I'll put them up on stage so that we don't have that feedback. How's this? Oh, Bob, you need to go on Weight Watchers too. Dang. Okay, Bryn, come on up. All right. Bob and I are on Weight Watchers, and it works. Okay, so 5 fingers. Oprah calls this the grapefruit punch. And what you're going to do is you're going to take your 5 fingers and you're just going to go 911, 911, 911. And then you're going to bring your wrists together like Wonder Woman, but you're going to keep the motion going. We call this the windmill. Okay, so go for it.
911, 911, 911.
Good, and break. Beautiful, okay? Now, if he has glasses on, that might not work, okay? So you're going to have to use a palm heel. Ladies, go like this. Now go like this. Tell me which one hurts.
The fist. We have 27 bones in our hands. So in martial arts, you'll never see us try to break a board or bricks with our fist. There's no way. We're always going to use the heel of our hand. Everybody repeat after me. My strongest weapons are legs, palm heel, elbows, side of the fist, back fist, but never the fist. Never the fist, right? Okay. So anyhow, so let's say you could kick him in the shin, or you could get me in the eye. So go ahead and do that. Pretend. Good. And then and then Wonder Woman breakaway. Good. But the throat strike is also a good strike, but we don't teach this until really about middle school, because you have to really cuff somebody or jam something up in there, or take 4 knuckles and go ahead and, or your fingers, and press it on the notch of your throat. So the throat strike really works for hugging. And in our middle school class all the way through women's, we actually have to teach women how to hug appropriately. Case in point, did you know you never, ever, don't let anybody ever hug you over like this, because your arms are trapped. And this is how I was sexually assaulted in high school. He grabbed me, and I tried to get out of it, and he came back, and he tripped me and threw me on my back, and then he was on top of me like that. So always have a hand up if I hug you, okay? Then that way you tell me, let me go.
Let me go.
And if I don't let you go, you're going to press in on my throat, okay? And then don't let go of my back. When I shoot back, now knee me in the groin, pretend. And we call this Finding Nemo. Finding Nemo, right? So a good knee strike. But loosen them up a bit, and then. But the only way you're going to do that is if you have a hand free. Okay, so teach your daughters that, please. Don't let anyone trap your arms when they hug you. Here's a really good hug that I love. Who's taller than me? Is anybody taller than me here? She just got socked in the arm here. Come on up. This is my favorite, watch. I want you to come up to me like, hey, good to see you. And I don't want to hug her, so watch. Hey, good to see you. You know, I'm just getting over pneumonia, but it's good to see you, yeah. Yeah, and it's true, I had pneumonia last month, so I'm not even lying. Yeah, so watch. Go up like that. Okay, I grab the inside. Hey, good to see you. I've got really bad breath. Isn't that cool? Thank you. Yeah. Okay, so on the throat strike, I want you, everybody say L. L for loser. You're a loser for attacking me. So I'm going to grab you, and I just want you to go 911, 911, and just cuff him, and then do the Wonder Woman break.
911, no.
Good, and break. Perfect. All right, great. Now, don't leave. Everybody always asks me, when would I kick someone in the groin? When they're distracted. We call that distract, destroy. So if he's going like this, to his buddies, yeah, I'll be back in a few, kick him in the groin, right? But if he's watching you, you're going to have to distract. So go for my eyes. I come like that, and you're going to just finish the deal. Don't let him chase you. All right. By the way, ladies, disabling targets. Eyes, they can't see, they won't chase you. Their glasses in their eyeball, they're not chasing you. They can't breathe, they won't chase you. You take out a knee, they won't chase you. You take this out, I guarantee you they will not chase you. Okay, all right, now, here's the thing. Plan B, I hate to tell you this, but Plan B doesn't really work unless you think about it a lot. You practice it where you're in the martial arts. Because think about how quick I go like this. Shut up. She's got like right now to hit me because I'm going like this. Shut up. Boom. See how fast I did that? Okay, so Plan B, maybe you're on an elevator, I don't know, or you're somewhere where you have to, you're thinking, you're more aware, someone touches you, you hit them. And by the way, the law says, tell me to stop. Oh, I'm going to walk towards you, tell me to stop.
Stop.
Okay, that next step is attempted assault. So by law, she has every right to hit me. So if somebody touches you on an elevator and they're like, touching you, and you say stop, and I'd hit them after that, okay? Assault is when they touch you. Assault and battery is when they touch and do some damage, like rape would be battery.
or actually it would be sexual battery, sexual assault and battery if it's in this area, yeah. All right, so now here's the best plan, and this is what I want you to teach your children. This is what Becky went through in our class. Everybody say Plan C. Plan C. If I can't strike, everybody say, if I can't strike or kick and break, then I'm going to drop on the ground, have a self-defense temper tantrum, and go Chihuahua crazy. Actually, we'll make Cece say that. And go Chihuahua crazy. And the kids, let's see. You want to play with Cece? Cece, you want to play with Cece? No? Okay, hold on a second. Cece, what's wrong? What? Oh, Cece says, I need to make a poo-poo. Okay, awesome. All right, so watch this, Bryn. Cece needs to go out. Yeah. All right, so can you take your boots off? Because you could kill me with those. Those are weapons. Boots are weapons, yeah. I'm bummed because I'm not going to have time to get to the weapons, but don't worry because I'll email you all of my favorite weapons. But let's say I'm pulling her or I'm pulling your child. As soon as she drops, it's done. Okay, because now she's pulling me close to her. Where could she kick me? Yeah, all right? Yeah, right in the groin. And the little kids, we teach them to go like this, strangers with their legs going up and down, not you guys. About 4th grade on up, we have them kicking at the target. So you're kicking at my groin, at my knee. But watch this. Bryn, go ahead and sit down again. No matter how tall I am, if you're kicking, if I bend over to hit you or choke you, my reach will never be as long as your feet. And if he is really, really tall, then you're going to lean back. You just lean back more, so you just go down a little bit more. See? There's no way. There's no way, right. Now, if I grab her, this is what you want to teach your children. Bryn's going to do an alligator roll, so go to your stomach and then to your back. All right, and see how that jammed me up? Little kids love that. They love to practice that. So we come, and I'll send you the video to that. I'll send you the video to the alligator roll. But here's a video. I'm going to, on your email, I'm going to send you what to do if someone pushes you towards the car, what to do if someone is between your legs in the rape mount, and what to do if someone's sitting on your body. And Becky will tell you, you really need to take a class on that last one, huh? That's a tough one. It's not tough, it's just that you can't really learn it from a video. That's when someone's got you, they're sitting on your stomach. You can't use your legs to fight. You have to learn how to bump them. You bump and roll and throw them off, and then you get between their legs and go, what's up? It's fun. Okay, so watch. So watch this. Everybody say, turn, drop, bazinga. So I'm pushing her towards the car. She needs to get to the ground. So she's going to turn. She's going to drop, roll back, and then, yeah, flat foot. Just go bam, and then take my knee out. Here, flat. Exactly. Now, chokehold from behind. This is a scary one. It's the same move, but she's got to get my arm off of her throat. So she pulls it down, tucks her chin. She turns, she drops, and she rolls back, and bazinga. Yeah. So, in fact, Becky, do you remember that? Do you have a dress on? Oh, never mind. Okay, yeah. Because honestly, women, no one's going to be doing this. They're going to probably be dragging you. But we had a student that started to elbow. She was a student after the fact. She was elbowing him like this to try to get away, and he went like this. So don't waste your time doing this. Just get the arm off your throat, pull it down, turn, drop, bazinga. Now, while you're down there, here's the rape mount. See, I'm just going through this really quickly just to teach you some basics. But here's your basic lesson. Everyone repeat after me. Control his hands. Control his hips. Once you have those two things controlled, you're good. So if I'm hitting you, you're going to cover your head so that your head's not getting hit, and then you're going to bring your heels up to my hips here, okay? And then you're going to push me back, push my hips back, and then you're going to rock it off and kick me in the face and knock me out, or the throat. That's why our guys wear padded suits in the women's class. Yeah. Thanks, Bryn. Thanks. By the way, we have a women's class. I'll put it in the email in Carlsbad on June 3rd, and I'm going to send you a discount. But I do have a women's class coming up. For my kids' classes, I hate to even tell you this. I think I have like 3 or 4 spots left in my Escondido class on May 5th. So I'll send you a discount code for that, but first come, first serve, 90-90 boo-boo. Yeah. But we're going to be at Family Karate. You're really lucky because Family Karate is the best school up here. In fact, several, Angel, Emiko, who else? Whose kids go to? He's a Christian too. Steve Trescott's school, Family Karate. He's really good. Yeah. Okay, really quickly. So the 4 A's of self-defense. Everybody say awareness, assessment. So once you're in a situation, you have to, what are my options? Can I run back in the store? Can I get in the car and lock the door quickly? Or do I have to fight? You will not go into freeze mode if you think about this. On a regular basis, you need to what if yourself, and you need to what would you do if to your kids as well. I'm telling you, write those scripts. It's called mind setting, okay? So that they know what their options are. The third is action. If you're screaming, hitting, running, you have to give it 100%. We have some people that come through our classes and they're like, they'll come up and they go, stranger, stranger, stranger. I cannot believe my mom made me take this class. Oh my gosh. Those are my middle school girls. That's like 7th, 8th, and 9th grade, right? Yeah, yeah. Are you kidding me? Yeah. And then the 4th A is attitude. And I don't mean like, because that'll get you in big trouble. I'm talking about believe that you can. The Bible tells us that he who is in us is greater than he who is in the world. I have not had to fight a stranger off since I've been in the martial arts. I've been sexually assaulted, but that's a thing of the past. But you know what? I have the devil that is bringing up all that past. The devil, I was married to, I'm still married, but non-believer. Oh, that's real fun. You teach spiritual warfare and your husband's not even a believer, but he is now. Now, he's not a strong Christian, I'm not going to lie to you. God's still working on him, right? But hey, we got him over the hump. He's saved, right? But where I've really seen the battle, ladies, is with my kids. Because the world is telling them that everything is really cool. All these things that are like lures are luring my sons away from God. I have a son right now. Both my kids are saved. They went to Christian school, but now my older son's kind of on that, well, I'm not sure, but I don't think it really matters what path you take up the mountain. It leads to the same place. Bottom line is, really? Well, then how come Jesus even had to die for us? And we know that happened. I mean, that's historically a fact. So then he didn't even need to come. But I've learned that with him, I can't really argue. All I can do is fight. And the best way to fight, I'm telling you right now, on the physical realm, ladies, I carry a Kubaton on my keychain. I'm going to send you a link to this. It's like $7 on on Amazon. And I use it because if somebody comes up behind me, I can hit them with it. I don't use pepper spray because, especially if I'm in an Uber, I'm not going to fill that car up with pepper spray. But you know what works just as well? Are pens. You should all have a pen. Okay, uh-oh. Yeah, I'm sorry. A pen, and then, or look at I love these emergency flashlights that they're really, really bright, but they also have the jagged edge on top here. We call those DNA collectors. This one has a knife on it, but I have one, unfortunately I forgot to charge it, but I have one that you press a button and it has 5 million volts of electricity. It's a flashlight stun gun, but I would not recommend that around kids. That's something you're not going to want in your purse, okay? My favorite weapon for moms with strollers and stuff is a personal alarm, okay? But what I love about this is you can strap it onto your stroller, and you can, or you can just strap it anywhere, but you can take it home. There's another attachment that goes in and you wrap it around your door, or you can put it in a window. It's like $7 on Amazon right now. I'm going to send you, I don't sell this stuff. I mean, I could, but I don't want to. I just, because Amazon is cheap. and $7. And then if somebody opens up your bedroom door or your window, and you don't have an alarm system, this is going to go off. But you know what I really love are pens, chunky pens and flashlights. And then last but not least, I'm going to send you a link to a panda bear that you strap onto your kid and you dial it up. And when they've wandered however many feet you've put on it, 4 feet, it's going to start beeping and you're going to know that your child just wandered away. It's called the panda bear alarm. I'm going to send you that. And I'm going to send you a link to the kid trackers. So how you can track your kids. There's things that you can put on them that you can track them, like kids that you share custody with. There's a watch, the Gizmo, where they can make they have 5 phone numbers they're allowed to call, and it has GPS on it. It's awesome, yeah. Now, as far as our spiritual weapons go, everyone repeat after me. Prayer. Praise. Rebuking. Pleading the blood. But most importantly, it's the word. If your voice is your biggest weapon, what do you think it is spiritually? It's your voice. Speak the word. Speak the word. I pray out loud in my house. I get up when I say, thank you, Lord. As for me and my household, we will serve the Lord. I say it out loud. I speak it. That's how Jesus rebuked the devil in the desert. Remember when he was being tempted, right? Your voice is your biggest weapon. And the word of God is a double-edged sword. It's ultra, ultra powerful, okay? Awesome. I'm so sorry that we went over. See, I told you, it's so hard to combine 2 topics. I won't do that anymore, yeah. But does anybody have any quick questions, or just see me afterwards? Because I know you have to go get your kids. 4 minutes. Okay, 4 minutes for questions. Anybody have any questions? Aw, thank you. Yeah. Uh-huh.
I'm really short, and there's no way that I'm going to get to be able to hug her or around her neck. So how do you do that kind of hug?
Well, then you would just have your hand on his chest.
Okay.
Right? Yeah, because if he's really tall, then I would say you're more like this.
Okay.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
But if you're dating, and it's really romantic, and then all I can do is tell you that once my arms are trapped, I asked him to let me go, and he wouldn't, and the next thing I know, in like a blink of an eye, I was on my back. Blink of an eye. He had it so planned out. Yeah, so. Anybody else? All right, okay. So what's your strongest weapons? That's your biggest. Remember this, if you're being attacked, you're yelling and you're having a self-defense temper tantrum, all right? You never want to fight a guy upper body to upper body. Yeah, awesome. Okay, well, I'm here for you afterwards if you want to talk about weapons or anything, and I will send Andrea the email, and she'll just forward it on to you, so look for that. And I'll put the No No Score song in there for you. Awesome. Thanks so much. Thank you.